In this session, we will explore the unique styles of wines produced in two of Canada's most exciting new modern wine regions, Quebec and Nova Scotia. One could argue there are two significant driving factors defining the styles of wine produced in Quebec. First is the extreme climate. This northern continental climate means severe, vine-damaging winter cold limits the kinds of grape varieties that can survive. The summers can be adequately warm, dry, and long enough to ripen select varieties, but the vintage variations are extreme and the weather is very unpredictable. The second factor that must be taken into account is the culture, passion, and commitment of the Quebecois wine community. They are uniformly committed to making viticulture work in their province, and the results to date demonstrate the future is very positive for hybrid and select vinifera varieties. As discussed, the vast majority of wines are produced from American and French hybrids. These hybrids offer Quebec winemakers the opportunity to grow cold, hardy vines that still produce grapes with excellent fruit character, acid, and tannin structure and complexity. The whites certainly appear to be the most important part of a bright winemaking future for Quebec, with the Céval Blanc and Vidal dominating plantings. Both exceptional unoaked, aromatic, and barrel-fermented and aged versions are made. Geisenheim, Chardonnay, and Riesling can also excel in select parts of the province. For reds, Marquette, Frontenac, and Maréchal Foch produce surprisingly deeply colored wines with plenty of dark, ripe fruit, earth, and spice character. There's the distinctive provincial style, or terroir as the French call it, that comes through in the wines. The wild, animal character that often dominates many poorly made hybrid varieties is toned down here, and the fruit is allowed to shine through, making these wines really quite delicious. It's important to note that Quebec really can't be pigeonholed into a particular style category. Whites are very important, but the rich culture of food and wine and supporting local purveyors means a huge assortment of interesting vinous products will be made. Ice wines are made from grapes and apples. Fortified wines are made in the style of vin doux naturel, where neutral grain spirit is blended with sweet, ripe, unfermented grape juice, leading to exceptional aperitif style and dessert wines. Even wines made from other fruits, such as blueberries and other berries, are made, as well as honey and even maple syrup wines. It's general to say that the majority of wines will express the climate with higher levels of acidity, moderate alcohol levels, and that distinctive je ne sais quoi character that is native to the vineyards of Quebec. Some of the better producers currently making really first-class wines in Quebec include Le Vignoble de l'Orpailleur, the biggest winery in Quebec, Domaine Les Bromes, Leon Corville, overlooking beautiful Lac Brome, Les Pervenches, a Chardonnay specialist making really first-class Chardonnay under very extreme conditions, Domaine des Côtes d'Ardoise, the first winery in Quebec, Val Caudalie, and Clos Saragna, one of the top apple ice wine producers in the province. Nova Scotia, like Quebec, has to deal with its extreme weather conditions. Winter cold and vine damage is a perpetual concern, and if it wasn't for the subtle moderating influence off the Bay of Fundy, which mitigates some of the extreme highs and lows of cold and heat, the wineries in the Gaspereau and Annapolis valleys would not fare as well. The long hang time that grapes enjoy in many vintages also mean that the final stages of physiological ripeness often take place, giving winemakers ripe grapes with balanced acidity, desirable pH levels, and well-developed flavor and aromatic qualities. Having said that, this is a province with ideal conditions for high-quality, seafood-friendly, light aromatic whites and sparkling wines. I've tried select reds from the province, and those willing to pull out all the stops to produce red wines of high quality are doing just that. Lightfoot and Wolfville Cuvée Ancienne Pinot Noir comes to mind as a prime example of such a wine. Like Quebec, hybrid varieties are the mainstay of the vineyard landscape here in Nova Scotia, with Céval Blanc, Vidal, l'Acadie, and New York Muscat dominating bottlings. Chardonnay Riesling can be found in limited supply, and well-known red hybrids such as Lucy Coleman, Baco Noir, and Marshall Foch also offer excellent potential here. If we were to try to nail down the most important style of wine produced in Nova Scotia today, we would have to start with Tidal Bay. This strictly controlled appellation wine was introduced in 2012 and guarantees consumers the best of acid and fruit balance, bright aromas, and pleasant levels of alcohol with a range of residual sugars. Obviously, not all Tidal Bay wines are created equal, so consumers need to do their research on vintage quality and producer reputation, but simply seeing the words Tidal Bay on a label of Nova Scotia wine is a very good starting point. Thanks to producers like Benjamin Bridge, the province has also demonstrated a remarkable ability to produce world-class traditional method sparkling wines. The moderate summer temperatures, high percentage of gypsum in the soils, and long autumn hang time mean that Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and other varieties are often picked in the ideal state of ripeness. Obviously, like every other Canadian province, ice wines are a staple in the industry, and there is still a strong culture of berry and other fruit wines here in Nova Scotia and in neighboring Newfoundland and PEI. Although sometimes very difficult to find out of province, there are a great number of really excellent wineries making world-class products in Nova Scotia. For bubbly, choose one of the aforementioned Benjamin Bridge wines. For excellent Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, go for Lightfoot and Wolfville. Other excellent producers making a vast array of wine styles include Yost, Blomidon Estate, Luckett Vineyard, Domaine du Grand Pré, and Gaspereau Vineyard.